Hi, welcome back to My Cup of TV with Jenny,
JD, and Erin.
And Kat.
You shouldn't say and.
Well, I said this last time. Should I stop saying the and? And then then you weren't really sure.
It's just another one of your questions. They all blur into one.
I will stop saying. Right, for the next video, I'm going to stop saying the and.
Good.
But if you don't, then
You've got to pick it up.
yeah.
All right.
But don't forget when we did the whole BT, you're like, yes.
Because no one knew top what was going on.
We just discussed it.
There was just something like S, yeah. I can react quickly enough, guys.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Reflex.
Oh,
By the
Ninja.
way, just to check, you did catch, yes, JK did say Euphoria.
Okay.
I did get that one.
So it's like working with a prettier version of Trigger from Only Fools and Horses.
Let's go to the wheel before everyone comes up with any more questions.
Yes.
The wheel.
I don't really have room for the wheel, that's why.
I was waiting for it.
It's because you go round like that and we just go like that. We do smaller movement. A bit smaller, she goes like that.
Everyone wants to move
So you take bigger, you take longer to get there.
I'm looking for fun with BTS because I want to do Bangtan Bombs. Okay. Ooh, hard hitting.
I'm very happy with that.
So, what are you going to hit me with, Jodie? Hit me with something hard.
With your rhythm stick. Hit me.
They can all hit me with their rhythm sticks. Why don't we?
What's that Lady Gaga song? Where she goes, I want to take a ride on your disco stick.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, this is descending quickly.
Yeah.
You started it, by
It's
the
a
way.
slippery slope.
Why? God, I hope so. I really hope so.
To be fair, you started this, not me. Anyway.
Why don't we, Jenny? Oh,
Sorry, I can see Erin try not to laugh.
I'm really doing it because you're doing. I can just see her face really like. And now I'm getting flashed with the sign. I can't help it. All right.
so we have rolled hard hitting.
We've not rolled anything.
You know what I mean. It's been fun. So why don't we watch what Jenny and I a little while ago recorded a couple of videos, but then we realised actually that unfortunately for some unknown reason the sound wasn't on any of the videos. So we only had a couple, which was good. One of them was digital, which we've redone already, and another one was a bit of a throwback, which we obviously haven't spun on the wheel since. So, and Erin hasn't seen it because that was when she was off with her famous friends and bowling with Queen. So why don't we go for Boy In Luv? Because that's a bit of a, like doubling up on the layers. It's hard hitting, but it's also a bit of throwback. It's
They look young.
they are a little bit young, but they're definitely coming into their own in terms of wanting to be thought of as young men and wanting to be thought of as the object of your affection.
Pre or post war of hormone?
Oh, pre, I think. Yes.
Ouch.
Oh no.
It's blonde RM still.
It's blonde
Do you
RM.
like
Maybe around
blonde
the same
RM?
time.
I
Because
like
War of
blonde
Hormone
RM.
is dark and wild, but this is Boy In Luv, which is a different album. Maybe
Only
Fact
we
Check
had a
Fairy
Fact
can
Check
check with
Fairy.
for us.
Fact Check Fairy's on it.
Thank you.
School Love Affair.
Is the album?
Are
yeah.
You Late Too?
Yes.
Jenny's like, let me name every
Yeah,
album that
every
I can
album
remember.
that I know.
I'm thinking
The
of the album.
album is School Love Affair and it's from 2014.
They are still a little bit young. And this is Boy In Luv, obviously later on we've watched Boy With Love. So what I really like about those two things, and it was again, it was the LUV, so it was the same sort of spelling
love.
thing. Yeah, that was it. Love. So Boy With Love is a slightly more romantic, more mature infatuation in love. Boy In Luv, which is the earlier version with the link there, is I think a slightly more immature, boyish version of infatuation and being in love. So yeah, they're the theme of this song is like they've obviously got a love interest and they're not sure if they like them back. So they're kind of this whole, what are you doing to me? Like, you know, this kind of push-pull tension of, you know, obviously, like we said, around the same time.
Oh my
like,
god,
war
are we going to
hormone
get
and-
angst again?
There's a bit of angst in there, I'd say. That's fair to say. A bit of angst in there, yeah. So, and I remember when we watched this, Jenny said to me, she was like, apart from like War of Hormone, is there any kind of like rocky kind of bit of guitar? And,
like rocky
and I was
guitar.
like, I don't think so. And then we watched this one and you were like,
As soon as it started, I went,
and I was like, oh my god, you're right. Because I did, when we think of like throwback and hard hitting, of course we think of Boy in Love. But off the top of my head, when we were talking about it, I didn't think of that kind of rock guitar. And I was just like, yeah, you're right. Oh my god. So,
I'm
yeah.
intrigued for whatever this sounds like. So are we... There was their really early ones were quite like dark hair, dark attitude.
Oh, I think we've still got a bit of guy liner going on.
Oh.
You like the guy liner? We like the guy liner.
I'm like, I love the guy liner, but I love it when you sing your ballads to me.
Yeah. And I know they're younger and in a completely respectful way, still so attractive. And I do, it's such good looking young guys. I think everyone shines in this video. Can you remember from this? It's been a while since we've seen it. I mean, I've seen it many times, but
yeah,
I think they all shine in this video.
There's a certain outfit they have in part of it that I just think, wow, I like them like that.
Good. So we will discuss afterwards and see what you think.
Have you let her add this one onto her playlist?
Yeah, I've had this one for a while.
Sorry. Because she'd heard the song and it didn't record and then I couldn't take it away from her. But you haven't watched the video since then, have you, of this one?
I think I have, but not a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen this for a little while. I don't think I've seen this again
Only
since we watched
because
it.
when we first started, we didn't have that many videos. I would just watch all of them kind of all the way through. Whereas now I don't have the time because there's so many. So now I have to kind of pick which ones I'm going to watch.
It's true. But yeah, interested to see what you think about this one.
Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you head over to Patreon, we have 4 videos ahead. We also have Discord and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Did I get them all, Kat?
Yeah.
If you want to talk to us that much, like, I don't blame you if you don't.
Do you know what it is? It's like no one wants to talk to us. So I'm like, you can do it on this. Okay, no one. Oh, what about this?
They're watching every video.
Easy for you.
Every video, they're like, these bitches be mad.
We're buying carrier pigeons.
Anyone see my smoke flares?
Yeah. Got like little coloured flags. We're here.
Oh, I did tell you about that Instagram message I got.
What?
From a Park Jimin.
Ooh.
Yeah. Thanking me for my support.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I know that's what Jimin does. He makes profiles with his real name and messages random people.
Do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't tell the girls this, but the guys do actually interact with fans a little bit on Weverse. And so
why
they
We
have-
are now on Weverse.
yeah, Weverse. That was going to be nice. We're now on Weverse. Yeah. So Weverse obviously is a platform that they have like videos and things like that, but fans can also post stuff. So I've seen fans post like, you've got amazingly talented army that do drawings of the guys and stuff. And one army on Facebook I saw, she took a photo of her screen because she was like, couldn't believe it, and she had put up a photo that she had drawn, just grayscale pencil sketch, really amazing, a whole group picture of the guys that she'd drawn, and Park Jimin had commented on it. The actual certified Park Jimin had said, and he was like, I'm so grateful for all of your love. It was like, she translated it and it was him, and she took a photo and she was like, oh my god. And I don't blame her, I think we'd react like that as well. So, but I can't draw.
No.
What can we offer?
Don't ask that question. Don't ask that question.
I was like, I can't draw, I can't paint. I don't think they'd appreciate my singing or dancing.
You can rap.
We're gonna send them a video of you rapping.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you never know. Maybe one day if we get onto Weverse as well, the actual Park Jimin.
I have nice hair.
Yeah,
That's what I got.
so we'll see. We'll figure something out.
I'll check in the back, see what else I
Yeah,
can find.
we'll see.
I'll point out the outfits that I like them in.
Of course you will.
Because we won't know.
I also have to point out that I recognise this music at the beginning instantly.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be...
That does not look like the same person we just watched in Euphoria.
No, that's baby JK.
Whitehead, RM, and
He is-
Yoongi.
RM is gorgeous.
I love my man's short back and sides.
I just remembered another part of this video. V doesn't look like V.
No.
It's very smart though, isn't it? To place just one day in there.
Yeah. Those outfits. I love those outfits.
Go on, B.
How does he do that with his face?
It's a very strong Jimin video. Very good.
If this was the first video you'd shown me, I think I would have fainted seeing RM.
Yes.
Oh, he's reading his book upside down.
Let's be honest, it's probably what I'd be doing in that situation.
That's exactly what I do.
They didn't wash their hands.
Jimin.
Didn't comment on him rubbing his nose, did you?
No.
How can he be so cute and like hard hitting at the same time?
They look like they're in detention.
Bad boys in detention.
Was he dribbling?
Not that I know of.
Or maybe it was the...
Jimin does. How's she still standing? I would have passed out.
That little tongue poke.
Okay. Erin.
RM's hair.
Just RM.
I love my man in that genre, in that era.
I never thought that I liked that shaved, but wowzer.
The RM, if you're thinking, next comeback, what am I doing with my hair? Do that.
Yeah, definitely stay blonde. V's just a little weirdo and I love him. How does he do all of that with his face?
He's got really good facial expressions.
Jimin, fierce, but I prefer older, like the
Softer Jimin.
yeah, with the edge, because he still does, like, from what we've seen, he does some like fierce bits, but just it feels like it comes from like a different.
It's a different kind of intensity,
Yeah.
I think, when they were younger. And V's mentioned it before actually in interviews, is when they were younger, not that they're not hungry now, but I think where they're more established and they are more comfortable in themselves and finding their, doing their artistic work. When they were first starting, they had to work 150% more so than other idol groups because they came from a small label, had no money, things like that. So they were so hungry.
You're seeing the fight in them.
And V says, when you look back on our earlier videos, he was like, you can see the fight in our eyes, like how hungry we were for it, and that's why it was so intense.
But then again, I remember what I said when I first saw this was this song and video was the first one, I don't know that we've seen any since that, actually, where they're actually singing at you. It's all very looking at the camera. They are singing it at you. And I don't mean to you, I mean at you. It's very...
Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah.
What else did I think? I loved like some of their little like fun bits. You can tell they're younger because they've just like when they're looking in like the toilet and stuff like that. Like that I would if you were like, you're a guy for a day, what do you do? That. If this had been the first time someone ever just was like, oh, here, watch this video, put it on, I probably would have taken a bit of an instant dislike to them. And
I'm smiling because we know she's going to say that.
And you know I'm going to say it. And I wanted to hold myself back from like, I think I went at one point, and I had to remind myself, I know they are like the champions for women, and they are brilliant. I know they don't mean this, and it's a very like young boy thing, but
there's context behind it, and we knew that we would talk about it afterwards. Yeah,
it made me feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that was exactly my words. It made me uncomfortable.
And at first I was like, oh, it's okay. And then I was like, oh no, he's like coming. It's when Sugar kind of bends and he's like coming up from her, and then it's like they like grabbed it, like his Jin like grabbed her wrist. I was like, okay, I get it that you're like come. But
I think I was even more mortified that it was Jin.
Yeah.
And it was like watching two separate videos spliced in together, because I didn't feel like that represented who, maybe because I wasn't picking up the words, but yeah.
He pushed her into the locker as well, and Sugar like shakes her.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
No, that's fine. That's where it comes into all of the angst of kind of where they're saying that in the lyrics they say, oh, push and pull, like one day you like me and the next day you're ignoring me, it's hot and cold, like what are you doing to me, woman, that kind of thing. And then I know that Jenny had some of those, those reservations when she first watched it. So the context around that and the cultural references are in a lot of K-dramas. There is a lot of people in order to like get the woman's attention and things like that, and it is this kind of push-pull. Now, obviously, looking at it from a very open-minded Western female's perspective, we can recognise how that's not the right way to go about things, because you need to have respect for a person, whether you're a man or woman, their own agency, that if they say, thank you, no, I'm not quite into it, you can't go beyond that line of their permission and force them to do something. So we're looking at it through that lens, and we're kind of like, it mismatches with what we know is right. I think the purposes of that is to be that kind of melodramatic, and it was almost when you look at it, it's from knowing the context, it is almost tongue-in-cheek, because you know that's not real and that's not how they really treat women. But in that context of, let's make this video a little K-drama in school and make it all this melodramatic in line with what K-dramas are at that time in that culture. So it wasn't because they actually treat women like that. It's literally being melodramatic. It's like an episode of Dallas or something.
Yeah, like I absolutely get that, but it just left me with that weird feeling, and I don't know.
It just doesn't sit right with you.
Yeah, no, uncomfortable is the right word. That's what I said after it made me uncomfortable. It's like, the scene when Jin grabs her by the wrist and he pulls her into the room with all of them. My instant reaction is that's a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be like, choose which one of us.
I think that's what it was. I now feel like maybe she's, I don't want to say involved, but with all of them, and the whole point is they've got together and said, we're going to get her here and make her pick which one.
Only to put them out of their misery, not to put the pressure on her, but they're sort of saying, we can't deal with this going crazy, potentially having tension between ourselves, let's get her in the room and please just ask her once and for all, who is it you like, so that you can put us out of our misery. But that can be interpreted in a different way.
It gave me a bit like a funny feeling in my belly.
I'd be interested to hear their opinions on that video now.
Yeah.
And how they felt making the video.
If they did like a where they watch that one would really interest me. what I maybe would have liked to have seen is that like Zac Efron High School Musical 2 angst. You know, when he's out on the golf course and he's doing that. But they could have done that. They could have like bashed against a locker and been like...
It didn't actually need to involve a woman in the video at all, in a way.
Yeah. Although again, I do like seeing the women in their videos.
Yeah. This may also be me just making excuses for them because I love them. But I imagine that being earlier in their career, there was a lot more direction from a director than...
And that would have been very much the video at the time as well, as in all that's culturally, that would not have stood out as, oh, this is weird, this is wrong. But to us, to our eyes looking at it now, it kind of does.
How many years, like, I did things that period of time that I would now look back at and go, how insensitive. Like, that's bad. So we're looking at it with a lot of time in between. So I don't judge them for it.
No, I feel that way too. I don't hold it against them or anything.
I know them, but if I hadn't have known anything about them and that had just come on, I'd have gone...
If this is K-pop, maybe I don't...
I would have not...
Yeah, and that's the thing, you see. You're right, someone's first experience could be that, but yet not knowing the context of the culture of being like, no, this is purposefully being like K-drama melodramatic, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Like, that's not actually how they treat women, like... Yeah,
I like to think that now they'd look back at that video and say, "Yeah, that's not
the vibe we
want to put out." Yeah,
like maybe we could change it or something. Yeah, I see what you mean.
How long do you think it was going to take me into my little speech to like get to the point where I was like, and now the bit that
we knew it was coming. I said the same thing.
But there was a lot in K-pop and Korean culture around that time, and there possibly still is. I'm not too sure. Please let us know. This song is all about, they're singing it, but they're singing it from a perspective of it's about being kind of a man's man, a boy's boy kind of thing, which obviously, again, from 2021 and out looking through our eyes of being quite open-minded and I'd like to say well-educated older women, we can see the dangers of going into the territory of toxic masculinity of that. But at the time, obviously, that, and just to take it on face value as kind of a fun song, that's kind of the vibe of it, is that I'm being a man's man and you're driving me around, mad woman, like what are you doing to me, you must choose, put me out of my misery. So I think there is definitely the innocence behind it that you can see through it.
I really enjoy the song.
There's the fun bits in it. It's not like raw like that all the way through. There's a little fun bit, so it does have that like immature edge to it. Honestly, like I said,
immature is a good way actually to describe it. That is, you're right, and that is like if you think about boys on the playground. I'm not saying that this is right, but that is their instinct or the conditioning. But boys would be like mean to the girl they like, and you're like, don't do that.
But there's definitely the conditioning as well. I think, as for girls, is to be like, oh no, you've got to.
That means he likes me.
Yeah, that makes. Or you've got to make them work for it.
Yeah.
Or so there's poor conditioning,
teaching people to play games that don't want to play.
And as you get older,
and there are some girls that do enjoy playing with boys' feelings, and
I need to listen to it. I need to see the lyrics.
You didn't pick up on one part I thought you would.
What?
J-Hope says Hakuna Matata.
Does he? I didn't.
Hakuna Matata.
Ha! That's the only bit I pick out from the song. I always.
Oh no, I didn't.
But I really like their
their outfits. That and Nemo now.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously they're wearing like Disney in Telepathy when they were doing the Life of Unplugged, and Snow White and Bugs Bunny and the Idol bit. They do. They like characters. They like a bit of Disney. But I really like the outfits in it. The tune itself is it is a bop. Like you'll be driving or something and you'll be along again. I do all of this. I must get some weird looks and traffic lights and stuff like that.
We'll find out when we start following you as well.
Yeah. We'll see you at the bus stop. What you do with that one?
That moment when she's in the room and they take the turns to sing to her the three of the vocal line.
Yeah.
I do watch it and just think, oh.
Yeah.
Especially when it gets to Jimmy. When it gets to Jimmy, I do think I'd be giving in right there.
Yeah. And she was really pretty. She was really nice. And I loved her school outfit with her red Converse as well.
I love the black Converse.
Yeah. Well, hers black. Someone's was red. I'm sure they were.
They're making me want to get some Converse.
Do you not have Converse?
I do, but I've only got they're like plain white ones, but they always come a bit small. So I buy my size and then I'll go do something stupid like get new Converse, go walking around London with Cat in them, and then wonder why I need to chop my feet off.
I've got
Converse come up tight. You have to buy.
Always do this
and wear them in gently.
Black, white, blue, red, pink, and like a glittery blue and pink pair.
I've got 100 of the
All high tops,
the ballerina
obviously.
ones. I have all the ballerina ones.
Yeah.
I want that.
Oh, I like the
I
high
want the-
tops.
I want
RM says that he loves a girl in high top Converse. And they actually have a song called Converse High, where they mention girls in,
All right,
in Converse.
RM, you may not be my bias, but I'm willing.
Also, you can
Oh, I'm
get,
sure
like,
I'm
a-
so pleased.
you can- I'm gonna listen to it again, and when I watch it again, I will just probably pay attention to the more fun of it. So
Yeah,
just-
take that with a grain of salt, because now
Yeah.
you know kind of the context behind it. Whereas in fair dues, like if you were to watch that, like I said, first time watching it, not knowing the culture or that it was tongue in cheek, you could think, oh my God, like, is this serious? Is this legit?
Or not knowing
like, are they
BTS,
meant to
yeah,
be serious?
and what they stand for.
But yeah,
I would like to ask them a question about that video though, if you guys watch him. How many times or how long did Jin spend sat in a locker?
yeah. How long?
And did anyone lock him in? You know someone did.
Oh, probably.
Sugar. I thought it was probably Sugar.
There are quite a lot of Bangtan bombs from that video, from
Is there?
behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, can you imagine coming to school and opening your locker and just finding gin?
I'd shut the door, lock it, and then like sneak back
From
into
me.
school in the night and like cut the locker away and connect it.
I say, budge up, I'm coming in.
And they're
Just
so,
in there, squished together. This doesn't work. It works for me.
and they're
Your
so
boots would not
smart.
fit in the locker.
They're so smart. They were plugging and linking with Just One Day. Like he was
Yeah.
listening to Just One Day, and it was playing at the beginning. So they're really
Yeah,
smart.
I could hear
Yeah.
other bits of songs. I realised I will have to watch that video again because of RM's hair.
I know. That is one of my favourite eras for RM.
Like
Oh my God.
the speaker system that it was rapping into, yeah.
JK, that is not the same person.
No, that's Bobby JK. But he was so cute. So like necklace. Yeah.
But again, he didn't do it for me in that video because I now have this kind of
Oh, yeah.
separation of
You have fine ass man, JK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
although Sugars.
Yeah, Sugar looked good. He had with the brown hair messy forward
Bit of
and with the
guy
guy
liner.
liner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked good.
So that was Boy In Luv. Is that like some automated thing? Boy In Luv.
You were thinking about it at the same time. You were like, yeah, got it right.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
What?
People are waiting for you to say goodbye.
Oh, sorry.
They're literally sitting there staring at the screen going, come on, cat.
Bye.